Hello everyone and welcome back to our series on Powtoon. Today's video will be the second in our 4-part series. In our last video, we merely discussed the basics of the Powtoon website, the templates available, and lastly, how to make a character to be used in the animation. In this video, however, we will finally get into how to make the actual animations. And without further ado, we can get into the video. If you remember from our last video, we can choose the templates for the animation here, which is one of the ways we can start making a Powtoon video. The second way is by clicking the create button on here on the top left side before choosing the type of video you want to make, followed by picking the template. The Pro or Pro plus sign on the top left of the video template indicates the minimal level of the account required to choose the template, so it would not be possible to do it with a basic level account. The third way to create a Powtoon would be if there isn't any suitable template for your liking and you want to create your own template from scratch. This can be done by clicking blank over here and selecting the format of your video. For this video, we will be picking the horizontal 16:9 ratio. Before we continue with the rest of the video, go ahead and like this video if you do enjoy it so far, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Once we select the 16:9 frame ratio, we can select the kind of theme we want to use among modern edge, whiteboard, cartoon, infographic, and reel. After doing so, you should be met with a screen just like this one. On the left hand side, we can see a similar order of slides similar to the one in Google Slides or PowerPoint, but rather it includes scenes that are in the Powtoon animation, of which each has a maximum length of 20 seconds. The arrow on the top side can be used to hide that space or reveal it again after hidden. Moving right across the screen, the grid button here will show a grid of squares that will aid in positioning objects and pictures in the Powtoon. The Untitled tab on the top of the screen is where the title of the Powtoon can be written by clicking on it and entering what you want to name it. Below that, we can change the dimensions of the Powtoon from the 16:9 ratio we picked in the beginning to other resolutions. Beside that, we can see a scale for the zoom adjustment, which can be changed by dragging it. On the right side, we can see the objects and other elements we can insert into the animation of the Powtoon. From those elements, the first thing we can see is scenes, from which there are a few we can pick from, including generic layouts, which include objects that are commonly used such as headlines, images, titles, etc. And social media layouts, where you can make social media posts, such as for Instagram. You also have layouts that are similar to generic layouts but in different styles, including circles, cosmic, business page, so on and so forth. You can also use images or inserting formats such as remote and office, and health and lifestyle. Lastly, you have a more detailed and purpose layout based on what you need from the scene, including intros, specifics, image grids, situations, and so on. If you look at the top over here, we can see the previous scenes we used, and we can also use our own scenes, which are scenes previously made by you that have been saved, by clicking this button over here. Below the templates option on the top right here, we can click on backgrounds right below it to be used in scenes. This can be in the form of our own files of images or recordings, or it can be one of the array of stock footage below. Right below the backgrounds option here, we can use the text option by clicking title, subtitle, or body text. You can also choose from a variety of designs below, including video titles, text elements, titles, infographics, and badges. Right below the text option, we can pick the character to be added into the Powtoon. You can, of course, add preset characters made by Powtoon, or if you follow the instructions in our last video, which you really should check out, the character we made by ourselves there. Below that, we can add props, which is rather straightforward. Props in the Powtoon database are separated into assorted categories shown here. So say for instance we want to add a laptop to our Powtoon. We would go to Tech and Web and we can scroll down to find it, or in this case there is no need to as the laptop is right here. We click on it and then it can be inserted into the Powtoon. Shapes are similar to props where they are separated into different categories. You can pick from video overlays, basic shapes, calls to action, which are like phrases, animated shapes, and the list goes on. After that, you can upload your own images or videos from your local files down below here. You can also add your own audio files in a similar way right below that. However, Powtoon also has an array of pre-made recordings and sound effects to choose from, which can be picked here. A unique group of objects that can be added to the Powtoon are called specials at the very bottom part of the column, which includes objects in certain seasons or occasions such as winter, Thanksgiving, Election Day, etc. Say for instance we want a turkey. We'd go to Thanksgiving category here and click this icon of a turkey here. After adding a text just like we did before, we have the option to edit its features right after by clicking the text and clicking the gear icon on top of it. From there we can pick the font size, which can be decreased or increased like so, bold the text, italicize it, underline, align it differently, change its color, the transparency, and the animation of the text as it enters or exits by clicking effects. You can also move the text from one place to another in the scene by picking A to B like so. Arrange also allows you to pick the order in which the text is in the animation, and you can even add a link to the website by clicking link. Lock meanwhile makes it so that you cannot edit the text anymore, so you don't accidentally change something. To unlock it, click the unlock button when you re-click on the text again. You can also edit images in a similar way by clicking them as well. You can swap the images for another prop to be selected from the right side. You can also change the animation of certain objects, say for instance the turkey from before. We can edit how many times it will jump throughout the animation, or you can make it not jump whatsoever, or play it in a continuous and repetitive loop. Using this button here, you can also flip the image horizontally. You can also add a color filter to the prop to change its coloration pattern. After that, you can adjust its transparency like so. You can also add effects similar to the text before, A to B, arrange, link, and lock. Everything is just like the editing of the text before. Editing a character is also rather similar to editing a text or image. However, the animation part is replaced by the pose the character is to take in this animation. When clicking on this icon of a man here, you can pick the following options of poses below here. A nice feature about Powtoon is how you can add music by clicking the volume button on the bottom left side of the screen here. Below that, you can see a bar indicating how long your scene of the Powtoon is. To adjust the time of the scene, click the plus or minus buttons on the right. The small boxes below indicate the different objects in the Powtoon right now. You can edit the time they come in or out by dragging the white gap here or the one on the right towards the left or right along the duration of the scene as so. The triangle part indicates the transition time during which the object is in the process of entering or leaving. For editing the time that the object moves from A to B when that option is enabled, drag the three-dotted icon in the middle along its span of animation as so. The play button here is used to pause the animation and see how it is, and the same button can be used to replay it. While the large triangle along the bar at the bottom can be dragged to change at what time the animation is at right now. The blue number on the right side of the screen shows how far along you are into the animation, and the number on the right of it indicates the total duration of the video. Well, that sums up part 2 of our Powtoon series, where we looked over the basics of the animation process using a blank template. Stay tuned for the next part of our series, where we will discuss how to make a professional and more intricate Powtoon animation. See you next time!